morning to all our viewers. I'm Alexandra Harrison from Supporting Child Caregivers, and I'm going to talk to you about how to get your out-of-control child into control. You know, parents sometimes tell me, everyday life is impossible in our family, and how can I get her to listen to us? What words can we use to get his attention? We are exhausted. Well, I'm going to give you a couple of tips for what to do in this terrible situation. My guess is that many of you who view this video will think that I'm talking about somebody else and not you. You'll think I don't understand your situation. You'll be caught between thinking, on the one hand, that your child is impossible and you've tried everything and nothing works, and on the other, that your child is fine and you're doing something terribly wrong. My spoiler alert is that I'm actually talking about you, and I'm going to help you make an impossible family situation better. Now, some of you have listened to me talk about good discipline on the SCC podcast, but here I'm going to give you a short version and focus on a particular pattern in families that leads to the child getting out of control. One thing I found is that what parents tell me that they do and what I see on videotape are often two different things. That's because many of the problem patterns that families create are out of their awareness. I'm going to talk to you about one of these problem patterns today. In this pattern, the child behaves in an out-of-control way when the parents refuse to give him what he wants, such as more screen time, or when the parents ask him to comply with an ordinary demand, like putting the screen away and going to bed. Now, on the surface, what typically happens is that the child asks for more screen time and the parent says no, and the child asks again more forcefully, and the parent says no again. And this goes on in an escalating fashion with more intense emotion on both sides, and maybe with the child throwing something or making a threat, and finally the parent can't stand it anymore and gives in, and the child gets what he wants. Of course, the child learns that if he makes a big enough fuss, he will get what he wants. Or, in a similar situation, the parent asks the child to go to bed and the child refuses. And the parent insists and makes a threat, and the child still refuses. And the parent's threats get bigger and bigger, and both of them get angrier and angrier. And finally, the parent explodes and tells the child that he's lost all his birthday presents or some other nuclear option. Now, both of these situations follow the pattern of one person trying to force the other person to do something they don't want to do. You can see that this pattern of what is called coercion builds on itself and gets stronger every time it's practiced. Well, how do you change this pattern? How do you change this struggle pattern into a cooperation pattern? The most important tip I have to give you is to slow down, take a breath, calm yourself. Sometimes leaving the room for a while is a good idea, and then follow my guidelines for good discipline. 1, validate the child's feelings, and while you're at it, validate your own feelings and your partner's, and help yourself get yourself and your child regulated. Number 2, try to understand the meaning of the situation to the child, and only then, number 3, come up with a consequence. Now, I know that you'll worry, what you're going to worry about is helping the child get regulated, part of the first guideline. That's what is most important in an out-of-control child, and that is not easy. But I will tell you this, although there are many ways to go about this important task, the first and foremost step is to slow down, get some space in your mind and body, and sometimes in the house, and get your thinking brain back. That will help you comfort or steady your out-of-control child. So this brings me to the end of my talk today, and if you want to hear more about good discipline, listen to my many episodes on the SCC podcast, which you can access on supportingchildcaregivers.org.